Hello, Faribault High School staff. Since I can no longer come and coach with you in your classrooms and come see what everybody's doing and plan with you and work with you like I have been able to the past few months before all of this happened, I thought, well, I am not working with my AP students. I will put together for you like a weekly vlog. My goal for this is that it will be just quick, it'll be light, and hopefully be useful. So my plan is to bring to you every week some kind of expert advice, not me being the expert, but another expert that I have like heard from or read about from the week, as well as give you some kind of like tech tip or instructional tip that can be like immediately and just kind of universally useful. So I have my little setup. I'm gonna pretend I'm a real YouTube star. I had to keep my Mr. Potato Head in here though, because we gotta keep it real. If you were to see my floor right now, I'm in a minefield of Legos. I'm not entirely sure how I'm gonna get out of this chair, to be honest with you. So, yeah, I guess everybody has their own quarantine realities, and part of my quarantine reality is minefields of Legos. So anyways, as all the cool YouTubers say, let's get started. Okay, so my thoughts on expert advice this week were inspired by some reading that I was doing in the Hattie and Yates book, Visible Learning and the Science of How We Learn. And specifically, it has to do with the impact of cognitive load and the cognitive load theory. So basically, the cognitive load theory is how what our brain has to process determines what ends up getting committed to memory. And there's two different types of cognitive load, and this is why it stood out to me. The first one is intrinsic, which is basically how what we bring to the table determines what we learn and how we commit things to memory. So like our prior knowledge, if we have a high level of prior knowledge, the intrinsic cognitive load will be smaller because we already are bringing a lot to the table. The other one is extraneous cognitive load, and this is something that our students are experiencing a really big shift with right now, because extraneous cognitive load is determined by like their learning environment and like the context for instruction and what that looks like. And so although our students are always experiencing that, all of a sudden it's super different with distance learning, right? So the question then becomes, how can we minimize the cognitive load for students so that they're learning more and committing more to memory? And so something that stood out to me with this, and I quote from page 153, it says, the cognitive load theory studies have also shown how novice learners suffer when excessive information is conveyed, especially through unnecessary words. So that brings me to our tech tip this week, which is the use of infographics. So infographics are just what they sound like, right? Information with some kind of graphic element along with it. And the reason they're so great is because it's a concise and really clear way to get information to our students. And that's something that I was talking to a lot of teachers about in the last 2 weeks in these meetings that we were having, is that it's going to be really important to get students information as clearly and concisely as possible. It's also really good for students like English language learners who really can use that graphic element to help them understand things like academic vocab or content vocab. So anyways, a lot of us have probably seen them. We've probably used them or learned something from them, but a lot of us have probably not created them. So that's what I wanted to talk to you a little bit about. I have 2 infographics behind me that I've created just in the last couple of months. The first one is the evidence-based practices that the instructional coaches use when they go through a coaching cycle with a teacher. And then this is one that I made, this is one that I made that is just my like personal beliefs about teaching and learning, and I kept it above my desk at work, and now I have it on my wall to continue to look at. I also created an infographic for my distance learning expectations for my students. So it's just like a really quick kind of poster for them to reference about expectations around like attendance, what their role is, what my role is, where they post questions and things like that. And I can also send that out to the staff if it's something that you want to use or kind of tweak for your own classroom as well. All of those infographics I created using the program Canva. Canva.com. There's also some other great programs that you can use, including Pictochart and Visme. I use Canva mostly. You can create a ton of things on Canva, and the reason that I like Canva is because it's free. There is a pro version, but I have never found the necessity to use it. There's also the option to just buy individual graphics if there's something that you really want to use for your infographic. But even if you want to do that, it's $1. which is pretty great. Another great thing about Canva is that they have wonderful templates to use. The one on my right, your left, and the one that I used to create the distance learning expectations, I used a template for, and they're super easy to customize, make beautiful, and it's gonna look like somebody professional made it. And it's just gonna be a great way to get some information to your students. I can see how it would be really useful for like a scientific cycle, some kind of math equation, word problems for math. I could see it being really useful for lots of things with language arts or history, like timelines or breaking down a text. I could see how like foods class could use it for a process, or even like woods and autos. I really feel like they could be really applicable anywhere and really helpful to students. So there's my expert advice and my tech tip for you for the week. Hopefully you find that useful. You'll be getting some more from me in the future. It'll be me and maybe Mr. Potato Head, maybe somebody else, I don't know. But for sure, I'm sure Legos will still probably be involved. So anyways, thank you so much for watching, and happy teaching, everybody. Bye. And so my thoughts on this were kind of expired? I'm gonna read it for you from this page. Here it is. Oh, I'm being blinded though. Oh, how do these people do it? That is my tech tip of the week. Make some infographics. Oh, why can't I say that? Infographics. It can be something that you actually task students with, creating their own infographic. Oh, why can I not say that word? And hopefully this is gonna be super cool.